one of the mythological creatures still shrouded in mystery. In the countless scrolls of time, between skies burned by the light of dawn and nights swallowed by shadows, there is one story that continues to live. A legend that has never died to this day. The Phoenix, the bird of fire. It is not merely a myth passed down from mouth to mouth, but a symbol of something far greater. Immortality, an unbroken cycle of life, and a flame that never dies. No one knows for certain where the phoenix first appeared. Some say it was born from the breath of a god, while others believe it was the first spark of the sun itself. In Greek mythology, the phoenix is said to come from the land of the sun, somewhere in the distant east, where the morning light first touches the world. Some name Heliopolis, the city of the sun, as the place where this bird builds its nest from fragrant spices and cinnamon twigs. When the time comes, it burns itself in a blaze of sacred fire, only to rise again from the ashes, stronger, grander, and more radiant than before. However, in ancient Egypt, the phoenix was known by a different name, Bennu. It was not merely a mythical creature, but a manifestation of the cycle of the Nile River, which brought life and sustenance to Egyptian civilization. The priests of Heliopolis believed that Bennu emerged from the primordial waters of Nun, perched atop the Ben stone, and with a single sacred cry, it created the world. These two stories, Greek and Egyptian, converge at a single point. The phoenix is no ordinary creature. It is a symbol of creation and resurrection, a representation of something beyond just a bird that lives eternally. Imagine, in a place hidden from human eyes, in a corner of the world reachable only by gods and fate, a golden bird opens its eyes for the first time. Its wings shimmer, reflecting the sunlight like living embers. It was not born like ordinary birds, but from sacred fire, from flames that do not destroy but create. As it flaps its wings, the air trembles, as if the world itself acknowledges its presence. It is not merely a bird, not just a creature that can be understood through human logic. The phoenix is a miracle that defies mortality, the guardian of the cycle of life. From the moment of its birth, the phoenix knows that it will not live like other creatures. It will not age and die like humans, nor will it be forgotten by time like heroes whose names fade upon gravestones. Its fate is greater, more terrifying, and more beautiful than that, because it is destined to die in a different way, a living miracle between gods and humans. It is said, according to various sources, that those who have seen the phoenix describe it in different ways. Some say its feathers are red and gold, like the newly risen sun. Others swear that every strand of its plumage holds its own glow, like fallen stars settled upon its body. Some believe the phoenix has eyes that radiate wisdom from countless lifetimes, that it has witnessed the birth and fall of civilizations, watched gods come and go, and remembered stories long forgotten. But one thing is certain: wherever the phoenix flies, it carries both hope and fear. Hope because it is a symbol of rebirth, a reminder that from destruction there is always renewal. Fear because it also brings fire, an element that can destroy as swiftly as it creates. Legend tells that the phoenix does not dwell just anywhere. It chooses places that can only be found by those who are worthy, those brave enough to seek it, or wise enough to understand its existence. Its nest is not merely a pile of twigs, but a masterpiece of nature itself. Built from the most fragrant spices, myrrh, cinnamon, and even frankincense, this nest is not just a dwelling, but an altar for its greatest ritual, its death and rebirth. The phoenix lives for 5 centuries, or perhaps longer. No one knows for certain, for time does not flow the same way for a creature like this. But one thing is clear. When the time comes, it will return to its nest, build an altar for itself, and prepare to face the fate that has awaited it since the dawn of time. No one knows what it feels in that moment. Does it feel fear, like humans do when facing their final breath? Or does it see this moment as part of a greater cycle, something that must happen so it may return, stronger, grander, and more radiant than before? One thing is certain. In that moment, the sky will bear witness. The air will be filled with the scent of spices and sacred fire. The phoenix will spread its magnificent wings for the last time before surrendering itself to the flames it created. And in the ashes that remain, in the silence after the fire has died, something new will emerge. A new life. The phoenix will be reborn. And its story will continue to repeat. As long as the world still turns. As long as the sun still rises in the eastern sky. The phoenix is not merely a mythological creature spoken of in the whispers of priests or written on ancient papyrus scrolls. It is a symbol, a manifestation of an unstoppable force of nature. Like the sun that rises every morning, like the waves that always return to the shore. But beyond all that, how does the phoenix live its life? What powers does it possess? And how does its presence shape the world around it? Time holds no power over the phoenix. There is no aging, no weakness, no degeneration. If there is one undeniable truth about this creature, it is that it does not live in the same way as mortal beings. This bird has an extraordinarily long lifespan, 500 years, 1,000 years, or even longer, depending on who tells the tale. But what is even more extraordinary is how it ends its life. Unlike humans, who slowly age and weaken, the phoenix ends its existence in a spectacular ritual of rebirth. It burns itself in flames and rises from the ashes, like a fire that cannot be extinguished by time. But before that moment arrives, it lives its life in a unique way. The phoenix does not seek food like ordinary birds. It is said that it does not need to eat or drink to survive. As a near-divine being of fire, it absorbs energy from the sun, the purest source of power that has ever existed. It is a child of light, and every rising dawn replenishes its strength. And throughout its long journey across the world, the phoenix does not simply remain hidden in its sacred nest. It flies across distant lands, witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations, the ascent and downfall of rulers, and silently observing the endless cycle of history. One of the phoenix's greatest wonders is its fire. Not an ordinary fire, but a flame that burns without leaving destruction, a fire that is pure and sacred. This fire is not merely a tool of destruction, but also a source of creation. In some stories, it is said that the feathers of the phoenix can heal wounds and even bring back those who are near death. In others, its tears are a miraculous elixir capable of curing the most fatal of diseases. Some believe that the phoenix not only burns itself, but also carries a greater fire, a fire that has the power to change the world. Some call it the fire of purification, a force that can erase the old and bring forth the new. In mythology, this is often linked to the concept of creative destruction, that something must first be destroyed, so that something greater can be born. The phoenix's existence is not confined to the realm of myth, but has found its way into human beliefs and philosophy. Many civilizations have seen this fiery bird as a symbol of resurrection and hope. In Greece, the phoenix is often associated with Helios, the sun god, due to its life cycle mirroring the rising and setting of the sun. In some ancient texts, it is said that there is only one phoenix at any given time, never two in the world simultaneously, for the phoenix is the only one of its kind. In Egypt, Bennu was seen as a manifestation of Osiris, the god of death and rebirth. In this mythology, the phoenix became a symbol of renewal, much like the Nile River, which brings new life to Egyptian lands every year. However, the phoenix's influence is not limited to mythology alone. Its concept has also found its way into human philosophy. The Romans, for instance, used the phoenix as a symbol of their empire, a sign that Rome, like the phoenix, would always rise again, even after destruction. In later centuries, the phoenix continued to live on, even in modern culture. It appears in literature, art, and even spiritual thought, always carrying the same message: that destruction is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. Yet, the phoenix's fate is not static. Its cycle always leads to one inevitable moment. The moment when it must choose to end its life and begin again. When that time comes, the phoenix will feel a calling from within. It will fly back to its hidden nest in the east, to the place where the sun first touches the earth. It will gather sacred woods and build its final altar, standing before the rising sun with its wings outstretched. And as the flames begin to consume its body, the phoenix does not resist. It embraces its fate with its head held high, for it knows that from this death, something new will be born. It knows that this fire is not the end, but the beginning of a life greater than before. In its final moments, the sky will change color. The dawn will glow brighter, and the air will be filled with a scent that cannot be described in words. As the fire fades and only ashes remain, a profound silence will blanket the world until the phoenix is reborn once more. And with that, the world will once again witness the miracle of an unbroken cycle of life. Among all the stories of downfall and destruction, there is one legend that refuses to fade. A tale of a creature untouched by time, unbound by the fate of mortal beings. The story of the phoenix and the moment when ashes become a beginning. After the final flames die down, after the sky returns to calm and silence blankets the world, only ashes remain. There is no sign of life, no sound, only the remnants of something that was once so magnificent. But this is where the true miracle begins. Within those warm ashes, something stirs. Something small, fragile, yet filled with boundless potential. A single egg, pulsing with energy unseen by human eyes. No one knows how long it will take, but at the right moment, a tiny crack will appear on its surface. And from within, a newborn phoenix will emerge. Its feathers are still soft, not yet aflame as before. Its eyes, filled with curiosity, seem to take in the world for the very first time. But though its body is new, its soul is ancient. Everything it has seen, everything it has experienced in its previous life, still lingers within. The phoenix is not merely reborn, it remembers everything. And as it flutters its wings for the first time, tiny sparks begin to dance upon its feathers. With every gust of wind, its fire grows stronger, until at last it stands as it once was, majestic, radiant and eternal. The cycle has begun anew. Life has restarted once more. Many believe the phoenix is nothing more than a myth, a tale spun to entertain or inspire hope. But for those who understand on a deeper level, the phoenix is not merely a fiery bird that lives within legend. It is a symbol of something far greater. Across countless cultures, the phoenix has come to represent hope and rebirth. To the Greeks, it embodied a force that cannot be destroyed, something that will always return no matter how many times it is struck down. In Egypt, the phoenix, or Bennu, was linked to the cycle of the Nile River. Each year, the river would flood, submerging the land. But when the waters receded, the soil became richer than before. This was rebirth in its purest form, and the phoenix became a symbol of that cycle of life. In Rome, the phoenix was adopted as an emblem of the empire, a declaration that Rome, like the fiery bird, would always rise again. No matter how many times it faced destruction, even in modern times, the meaning of the phoenix endures. We use it as a metaphor for those who rise from failure, those who refuse to give up even when the world tries to bring them down. The phoenix is not just a myth. It is a concept that continues to inspire humanity to persevere, to always find a way forward after devastation. A legend that will never die. The phoenix is a being that never truly perishes. It lives on in every tale that is told, in every symbol etched into stone, in every flame that burns away the darkness. Perhaps one day, someone will claim to have seen it. A bird with wings of fire soaring through the dawn sky, leaving behind a golden trail in the air. Perhaps someone will hear its cry echo in the distance, as if the world itself is announcing the rebirth of something great. Or perhaps the phoenix never existed in a physical form at all. Perhaps it was always something more abstract, an idea, an inspiration, a reminder that destruction is not an end, but a new beginning. And as long as humankind continues to believe in hope, as long as there are those who rise after they have fallen, the story of the phoenix will never fade, forever. There are many lessons to be learned from this mythical creature, one of the greatest being the will to never give up, the desire to rise again even when faced with the deepest despair. May the spirit of the phoenix always burn brightly within you. Share your thoughts about this legendary creature in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to stay tuned for more fascinating stories only on this channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll meet again in the next video. Until next time.